What is going on, folks? I am Goat and welcome back to Warframe. So, I initially shot this video before patches and before stuff happened. So I'm actually shooting this video just before I posted. That's kind of an unusual thing. The thumbnail I actually chopped from the original video, which won't really fucking matter. So I'm literally shooting this at 11 o'clock at night on the 8th of May. Good times, baby, good times. So, we're going to talk about the present Duviri experience, and I do want to preface that the upcoming videos that you're going to see about running and doing the lone story or the Duviri experience, or even further, probably like in July, running some circuit missions, or running the circuit, the stuff after the things that I've shot right now are actually shot before this. So the intrinsic levels are going to look a little wonky and so on. But we're going to cover all this, okay? So, the Duviri Paradox as a quest. I absolutely 100%, I love the quest. The quest was fun. My only caveat to the quest, honestly, was one mission choice. And I said it during the quest, and I'm going to say it again. Void Flood. Makes no fucking sense. Literally makes no goddamn sense from a new player perspective. From anybody who's already established in this game, Void Flood is just another fucking thing, man. Anybody who's already completed the base star chart understands what the fuck a Void Flood mission is about. The context behind the mission. Surviving, exterminate, defending, excavation. Those four mission types are very self-explanatory. Void Flood, not so much. They're a bunch of little, for lack of a better way to put it, a bunch of little blue glowing balls that you have to go and jump around and collect and go fill up these weird arms that you've never fucking seen anything like before. Because even on Duviri, there's nothing that looks like those Void Flood, little gates or, fissures or whatever the fuck you want to call those damn things. So, that's part one. Part two of why I don't like Void Floods being in Duviri is, aside from teaching people parkour, which is the only reason as to why in the fuck I can figure out why in the hell a Void Flood is in there, other than they couldn't think of another mission type to put in there, is pretty simple. You can't actually do a normal Warframe Void Flood mission until you defeat the Angels of the Zariman quest, which up until Veilbreaker, that's the most recent cinematic. Like, Veilbreaker was just like an opening to Call and a few other things. So the last cinematic quest that we had, as far as like actually having a story, giving us a new faction and so on, was the Angels of the Zariman. Yeah, I mean, we had Veilbreaker, we had Citrane's Last Wish, so we're just basically just introductions to something else. And honestly, I guess you could technically say that about the Angels of the Zariman, but that's kind of story-based, leading you into something else. Looping back around to Duviri. Looping into the Zariman 10-0 and the story of the Tenno and the Drifter and so on. So, the Void Flood mission for me doesn't make any goddamn sense, because basically you have to defeat the entire goddamn star chart before you can actually, in normal gameplay, play the Void Flood again, unless you just want to do it in Duviri only out of context. So, just my own little caveat there, and I'm sorry for like a 2-minute fucking, spiel about that. So, the way this works out, obviously, anybody who's been playing this, because the shit's been out for a few weeks now, so I mean, at this point, I think anybody who's been playing this understands it, but for those who don't, this is a very simple concept, okay? The lone story is basically just what the quest was. You get fucking 6 goddamn things to do, have a nice day. That's your spiral, except now you go fight an aura worm. I can tell you right now, fighting an aura worm is not difficult. It's really not. It's a little confusing the first time you do it. But if you just upgrade your Kaith intrinsics, I think it's to level 7, intrinsic level 7. We'll look at that in a second. You can speed up your Kaith burst or your Arcwing blink, for a lack of a better way to put it, and use the Orpheus to basically hit the balls of death that are flying at you to help speed you up to basically create a airflow change, and you fly at the fucking aura worm and do your thing. Or you can do it the hard way and just parkour up that motherfucker and just try not to get knocked off of it. Either way, it's up to you.
Navigation has been updated with new invasions. Chaos is spreading.
Thanks, Lotus. Chaos is always spreading. But the lone story is basically no side objectives, no nothing. This is basically just how you farm Pathos clamps, because that is the payment item that you get for defeating an aura worm. If you do it on the steel path, you get 5 steel essence, I believe, and you get an extra 5 pathos clamps. Personally, if you're trying to farm it quickly, just do it on regular star chart. The steel essence, you can get that easily running missions regularly. I mean, unless you're just trying to double down because you're almost out of fucking steel essence. I don't know. It seems like overkill to do the lone story just for pathos clamps and then, oh goody, I get fucking steel essence. Not so much. The Duviri experience is basically the open world aspect of it. You still have the lone story spiral story to do, but you can do it at your leisure. You can stay in there for hours upon hours and farm every fucking respawning thing that could pop up. You can do a bunch of, you know, paragram, everybody calls them the owls, but they're, you know, little paragram puzzles, and you can, you know, get all the RNG hell of the fucking new bow and arrow. It's kind of a thing. And so on. You know, there's 5 new melees that came with this, the sun and moon, and then you've got the other 4 drifter melees. You got a single-handed Nakana, two-handed Nakana, a hammer or a big mace basically, and a polearm. Basically all of the melees that the broken Duviri Dax attack you with. The bow is also the bow that the big Duviri Dax attack you with. So, but they don't do quite the same things. They're close, but not quite. The bow is like the biggest letdown for me, honestly. It's not bad, but it's just, I want the raining arrow thing. It doesn't do that. It's kind of annoying. So anyway, aside from that, personally, I find the Duviri experience itself to be quite fun because it's just constantly recycling new shit to do. Even like you can go through an area, find a chest that you busted open, go, you know, 50 meters down the fucking road, boom, there's a new fucking chest there. There's a guy to to capture away from the Dax or so on. I mean, there's, you know, shrines, you can play Komi, you can play Shazens, just all sorts of shit. So and you get intrinsics for every single decree, even when you expend all of the decrees in about a 2.5 hour time frame, 2.5 hours, depending on how quick you feel like being, or if you just want to mosey, you could do it for about 4 hours, whatever. But once you expend all the decrees possible, you still get intrinsics and other payouts, so it's fine. But the circuit is the interesting one. Now, I was unfortunately under the weather the first few days of Duviri, and the circuit was a little buggy. Like, I kept getting kicked out of it, and I wasn't getting paid, you know, showing progress in the tiers. So for me, it was just like a lost leader, and I was very curious about getting the Bratton Prime and the Lato, or the Bratton Incarnagenesis and the Lato Incarnagenesis. So unfortunately, I have to wait for those to cycle back around to get them. It's fine, because I got others. So you've got the normal side, right? So the normal side is for the newer players. Like, anybody who's watching this right now, you best set yourself to Ash, because Ash is kind of a pain in the ass, because you can't even get Ash for a while anyway. This is a much easier way to get Ash. This is a stupid easy way to get Ash, actually. You know, you get some random ass fucking weapon blueprints, arcanes, things that would be a little bit more difficult to get. Augment mod specifically for the fucking Warframe. So for anybody who isn't even doing the steel path yet, watch the frames. Look at, you know, like, most frames come from assassinations. Not all of them. Some frames are specific farms in Railjack that you may not even have access to yet, or that you haven't built up enough to be able to handle doing. This is a stupid easy way to do it. Just go public, boom, have a nice fucking day. And honestly, for a newer player, this is great. Hell, my baby account, I mean, it's going to be a hot fucking minute before I see any of the few frames that I haven't farmed the duplicates of yet. That's fine. Eventually they will show up, and that's great. Right now it's just prime variant frames that are going to rotate. But the steel path side of the circuit. Now, as you can see, this is technically week 3, so this is the 3rd round of the circuit. You can see I've completed it. I've got the Boltor Incarnagenesis, and I've got the Lex Incarnagenesis, and yes, we will be going over those, as well as the previous week I chose the Strun and the Lato. Those are both coming as well. Those are actually, I believe, the next videos that are going to be posting, or shortly thereafter. The only reason that I waited is because I wanted to dick around with the builds a little bit more, and truthfully, these bitches are going to be rotating around, so you may have already chosen, and, you know, from last week and so on, kind of is what it is. So, but in the Steel Pass side, you get new arcanes, Riven mod potential, Riven slivers, Warframe adapter blueprint. I wish it was just the adapter, not the blueprint. I think that's kind of dumb, but whatever. These things rotate around all over the place. You know, the guarantee is that you get steel essence and you get a couple of weapon incarnate genesis adapters, and then you get some resources. But this is what I was talking about. Again, eventually it's going to dry up sooner or later. But right now, this is what I was talking about. One of those things of DE incentivizing playing the steel path other than just measuring dicks. This incentivizes steel path play because of curiosity. Man, the Lex is outmoded, outdated, usable, serviceable, but not amazing. How good's it going to be with an incarnate function? You know, the Boltor, outmoded, outdated, barely usable. I mean, usable on the base star chart, not so much at all on the steel path. What's that going to be like? I can already tell you, they're fucking pretty good. The Strun. So many people hate the Strun. Guess what? It's fucking amazing. The Lotto is fucking banging. I mean, this incentivizes. Once you get one good weapon, you go, oh, this is incentivizing it. Now, that's the good. The gameplay is fun. Couple bugs here and there. Given the size of this fucking update, it doesn't surprise me, okay? It doesn't surprise me at all. Now, I am going to go into what I would consider a slight negative, right? So let's go to the dorm zone. Before we go into anything else, let's go into the dorm zone. Yes, I can do this in Teshin's Cave, but I don't want to do that yet, okay? Really don't want to do that yet. I could just go straight into Teshin's Cave, but I don't want to do it yet. We'll see why. My God, I am just... Oh, I know why. See, I don't usually have my shit set to hold the sprint, or I have it set to hold the sprint, and I turn it off for call missions, and I forgot to turn it off. So I'm just jumping around like a dumb baby. Alright, see, there we go. That's a little better. Intrinsics. So as you see, I am max, not max, and then max. I have a problem with opportunity rank 10, and it's the Stalker. Okay? We'll go into that. As of right now, I find that to be annoying as fuck. Is it interesting? Yeah. Does it seem like a cool idea? Yeah. But I don't care. If it's not a Warframe that I can get and rank and have in my fucking, you know, loadouts, I don't want it randomly fucking appearing. Okay? An unlikely ally will occasionally appear in Teshin's Cave as a playable Warframe. Fuck off. If I can't have him, don't put him in that shit. Okay? And here's why.
Let's see.
No, we're not going to talk to you right now, you bonkers lady. Get out of here. Okay, so this is where matchmaking begins. I have a bit of a problem with this. Flying Kaith right here. This is matchmaking. Once you're in Teshin's Cave, you have 15 minutes to do your fucking job and get the fuck out. Instead of running around, being a dickhead, or being forced. That's the problem. Unless you're doing this solo, like the 15 minutes doesn't seem like a big of a deal. That fucking portal over here, that motherfucker right goddamn there, that's a problem. Because if you're on public and 2 people go through that bitch, you will have 10 seconds. Whether your choices are done or not, you will have 10 fucking seconds to do your goddamn job. That's problem number 1. I do not like the fact that matchmaking is made before going into Teshin's Cave. Okay? I don't like this at all. I think this was a really stupid choice, truth be told. If there was a dramatic flaw in it, this would be it. This is dumb. This should be, hey, look, here's where I'm going to do my thing. Once I go through that portal, that's when I can join other squads. But this is my space. Because guess what? I don't see what anybody else sees with their stuff. I see the same Teshin. I see my Kaith with my Kaith's name, Jesus Christ, because I always need Jesus Christ on my side, or at least under my butt.
The other side
You do your intrinsics, you listen to Drunken Teshin up here, and then here comes my only other complaint.
With blood.
Got 5 frames here, right? Once you pick a frame, like you can't even see the weapons, so you could have to come back, okay? But you have 5 frames, and they are 5 random frames from your arsenal, okay? Unless you don't have that many frames yet. I don't even know what that situation would be like. I almost want to start another account just to see what that would be like. Lua is just jumping around everywhere. So anyway, you get 5 frames, and I swear to God, Trinity, Volt, and Oberon are always here. One of those 3 frames, I shit you not, is literally always here. Now, if I had a guarantee that the Stalker would replace one of those, I'd be fine with that because I'll pick them anyway. I digress. What I would love to see, just one little thing, and I know I say little, but if they can track your account, they can track your account progress, then I personally believe that a patch could be put in to allow for the game to pick one of these slots, one primary, one secondary, one melee, one frame, okay? All of which are one of your top fives. So a top 5 frame, top 5 primary, top 5 secondary, top 5 melee. You don't have to worry about companions because you don't get them here anyway. The only reason I say this is because a lot of us synergize our builds, right? We try to, you know, get our best weapons and our best things. On the base circuit, it doesn't matter. In the Duviri experience, it doesn't matter. Here, going into the circuit on the steel path, it most certainly fucking matters. Okay, so my choices are Atlas, Titania, Trinity, guess what? Couldn't fathom that, Harrow, and Revenant. So I have 3 extremely serviceable fucking frames for the steel path. I have Atlas, I have Harrow, and I have Revenant. Now, Titania can do the job, and Trinity can most certainly do the job, but they are not what I would choose to go against level 150 and higher, okay? They're just not. Now, am I upset with these choices of frames? Fuck no, I'm not. And I love the challenge. Just so you're aware, I'm not making a huge bitch about the frame thing. I would love to see this, is what I'm saying. So now you pick a frame, right? Now, we're not going to play a mission. I'm just showing you, okay? So now your weapon choices come in. And this is where the shit hits the fan, because it's either amazing or garbage. Okay? So I have the Soma Prime. I can use that. I have the Kuva Carrick. Fuck off. I have the Cerberus Prime. I can use that.
The challenges of the Undercroft mirror.
I don't even own this weapon, so this is a default build.
Prove you are the equal of their fighting
And the fact that it's a whip means it's trash. It is not going to do you a bit of goddamn good. Guess what? Dual heat swords. I don't own those anymore either because I hate them. Guess what? Default fucking build. They're not going to do shit on with level 150 or higher. Oh, look, the Karudo. I don't own those either. Guess what? Base ass build. So I have no serviceable melee whatsoever. I've got 2 good primaries and 1 okay primary. Won't do great. And then I've got the Cyanex. Okay. And then I've got the Euphono Prime. Now, the Euphono Prime I'm not mad at. That will definitely work. But if I didn't have something like Revenant or something like Atlas, it's extremely difficult to fucking kill. Like Harrow, pretty unkillable in a lot of ways too, as long as you play them right. You know, if I didn't have a really, really good serviceable frame here, not having a melee can be a big hindrance. Teshin, stop. Put your mug of mead down. So yeah, so I mean, you take your Euphona, and then you take, I mean, I guess that. So, oh yeah, no, I guess we gotta pick a primary, so we'll pick that. So yeah, so I mean, you get random ass weapon choices, which does give more challenge, and I dig the fact that it gives more challenge. I just wish it would take into account 1 primary, 1 secondary, 1 melee of your top 5. They don't even have to be your top 5, like the number 1 of the 5, just 1 in that top 5. Maybe it's a weapon you haven't used in a while, and maybe you got to adjust the builds, and that's okay. But, I mean, it'd just be nice, right? It'd be nice to have something that you could synergize a little bit better with because you're a little bit more accustomed to, especially when you're going against higher level stuff. Just my personal opinion is all that is. It's not me bagging on it. I love the challenge of the circuit on the steel path. I really do. I think it's fun because it makes you fucking think. It might irritate you, but it makes you fucking think. So I'm totally okay with it. So overall, I find this gameplay, I find the post-Duviri experience to be very good. Okay? I really do. I absolutely do. Mission failed. I didn't even do a mission. Fuck off. I mean, we're only in... Wow, really? It's going to say 6? It did say 8. When I shot this video last, it said 8. It's at 33.0.8. Hold on. You know what? I'm going to look. Because I could have swore that motherfucker was at its 8th. I guess it is only 6. I could have swore it was 8. Yeah, 4 days ago. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Either way, though, an update this fucking big, and we're only at 6 hot fixes, and there's still just a few bugs, but nothing major. I'm not upset with this at all. I'm really not. I think DE kind of nailed this one pretty good. And so far, at least as far as firearms go, the Incarnate Genesis for the weapons, for the guns, is pretty fucking badass. So, and actually, now that I think about it, I think I've got a couple of Duviri, like a lone story and then a Duviri experience video, and then I get into the Incarnate weapons. But either way, a post-Duviri look, since we've gone through some hot fixes and had a few days since one, it's very simple. I am enjoying the living fuck out of it, and it just gives that much more to do because it's like this unending process of insanity. So, with all that being said, I want to thank you folks very much for watching. So yeah, we'll see you in Duviri, right? Y'all have a good one.